just misses the back corner, so you just smack it on. Alright, so my first tip that I can give you for these is we're going to need to make a frame out of 2x4. The long board on each side, we're going to cut the right length. So with the 2x4s, we're at like 25 and an eighth-ish. So 25 is good. So we'll do these two long boards 25. And then the two short boards are going to go on the inside of the long boards. The actual target area is 17 3/4. So I'm going to cut these two inside boards about a 1/4 inch short, 17 and a half. And what the reason for that is basically we can take our 2x4s, we'll make our frame, so we'll make two L's. So we'll have an L here and an L here. And then when we get everything stacked in the middle, we can screw those corners in to lock it in place. If you leave a 1/4 inch off, you'll have a gap, so that when you put your screws and you screw everything together, it'll actually pull tight like a clamp instead of bottoming out on the other board. So that'll help keep everything tight once we put our two L pieces together like that. Alright, next step, now that you got your frame, you're going to use 10x3 screws, or really any 3-inch screw will work. And don't fall in the trap where you think any of this needs to be like perfectly square. Remember, you're building a disposable item basically. You're just going to shred it with knives, so don't get too caught up on that. So we're going to get it roughly 90 degrees. And we're going to make two L's. Same thing with this. Get it close, don't worry about being perfect or anything. Alright, so now like I was saying, when we put these two L's together, like that, you're going to have a space in this corner and that corner. So what that's going to do is whenever we clamp it down and screw it together, it gives us some room to really squeeze everything in and make it tight. This part's optional. I'm going to do it because I have scraps, but a piece of plywood, it can be super thin. It just makes it a little easier to assemble. Alright, so we're just going to take one of our L's and we're just going to attach it to the back. And you can see, like I said, like I've got this scrap wasn't big enough to cover the whole thing. It's not a big deal. I'm just rolling with it. This is just to make it easier to put together, really. So we're just going to tack this board down. Alright, next little tip. You stand this up, put something under this side, gives it a little bit of slant that way, that holds all your boards. So like once you put one in, I use wood glue. That's going to be the secret sauce. So even if you're a shitty carpenter, it'll all stay together because wood glue is awesome. So you're going to glue, put a piece in, slide it. So if you've got a little bit of a slant this way, it'll hold all your pieces where they're supposed to be without you having to fight it too much. Alright, so now we're just going to put some wood glue. Wood glue is amazing. It's one of the best things ever. You're basically just going to do two sides of a block, put it in. Two sides of a block, put it in. So you want to make sure your in-grain part's facing out, of course. Other than that, there's not much to this. Basically just keep repeating that. Some of your pieces are not going to be perfect. They don't have to be. You can go back in later after we got these glue and everything stacked. You can put a couple of screws here and there, like through the back of this, through the sides, just to really lock everything in place. Once again, you don't need to, but it will make it a little sturdier. But no matter how good or bad I've built these targets, they always, if I'm actually like practicing heavy, they never last me more than 6 months anyway. I always shred them. And that's like, I'll shred a target that I spend 30 minutes building. I've shred targets that I spent, 2 hours building to make sure everything was perfect. And they both lasted about 6 months. So don't get too worried about that. Alright. Next thing is going to be, I'm going to take this other L. And we'll do this as well. So that's going to go here. So what we can do now is you can use your, just kind of bang it, set everything where it needs to go. As you can see, I don't have any screws in it locking it in place yet. That was all just glue holding that together. So now we're going to try and get this roughly lined up. Once again, none of this has to be perfect. Get it about where it's going to sit. Don't tighten it down all the way just yet. So we got 2 there. And this part here, we're going to go do this. Alright, so we got our corners in. Let me So what I like to do for this part, just to make sure everything's flush, is we're gonna place it on flat. We're gonna take a hammer or mallet and just gonna whack each block. Okay. And now that you do that, you're gonna tighten just a little bit on each corner. Just kind of work it back and forth slow. That way everything tightens pretty even. And this is where I was saying, if you want a little bit of extra insurance on your edge pieces, you can put a couple more screws. I'll usually put 1 on the top and bottom, and I'll do do 2 or 3 on either side. You can see, super quick and easy. And like I said, I'll go ahead and show you. So what I'll do is, where's my shorter screw? There we go. I'll take some shorter screws so they don't poke through the back too much. I wouldn't put these in the middle where you know you're going to be beating the target up real bad. But just a couple, once again, keeping your corners locked around the border. Not a bad idea. So if this is your first time building one of these, I'd recommend just going to the back. You can put 1 screw in each block. That way if you did miss something, something's not tight, that's a little bit of extra insurance. But this is something I thought I might put in just in case people that haven't been to a competition haven't seen it. This is an easy way to hang your target solo. So you get a board, you put holes wherever your targets are. So for competition throwing, this would be the high target, this would be the lower middle target. You put that screw right in the middle of your target, and then you can stand it up on that board to hold it up against your backboard while you're mounting it, which I'll show you next. Alright, so now that you've got your board attached, do that. Your board will hold it for you more or less, just long enough for you to get a screw in there.
What's that?
Take your board off, and your target's right at the perfect height without having to do any thinking.